Hello, dear lovely, lovely YouTube. I hope you're all okay out there. Hope you are. This beautiful, beautiful summer has arrived in the UK. Do you know what else has arrived? COVID. I'm on day 5, right? So excuse the state of me. I've been out this morning for a walk along the seafront because, fresh air and all that. Oh, I should get my hat. Hold on, let me show my hat. Quite proud of my hat actually, because I bought it in Tenerife, right? Which is where Brits love to go for a bit of winter sun. I bought it in January and I have my hat and I felt like expert level walking along the seafront. Wait, I'm just going to go and get you my hat. Look at this. I'm proud of this. Like it. Tenerife. When you go on holiday as a Brit abroad, right? What is it you buy? What do you buy there? You buy some flip-flops. Maybe you buy a beach towel and sun hat. So I was really happy today with my sun hat because I recognise the usefulness of one. If you wear glasses and you don't have those, is this looking to me somehow? This camera looking like it's at an angle. Is it me? Oh gosh, dear YouTube, what you have to put up with from me. Okay, so bye to all the people that have just clicked on and watched this mad English woman chatting about her sun hat that she bought in Tenerife. Anyway, here's the thing, dear people watching. Sometimes I do just jibber jabber about the stuff that happens to me. And sometimes I have guests on that talk about interesting stories, right? The big interesting stories that happened in their life. I was going to say in their lives because it's more than one of them now. I'm on person number 4, which is like, oh my goodness. And I've got 35 minutes before I'm actually working. So I'm actually working today. Day 5 of COVID. I'll take advantage of my time and talk to YouTube about the coincidences, synchronicities, and just events that have happened in my life to share with you my personal journey of my own understanding and what's happening in certain situations as a way for me to help improve myself so I can be a better person and to share with you how I've gone about that really. Now I realise this chatting nonsense is about delaying tactics because my pet hate is doing anything twice. Now, I've done it once when I've noticed the coincidence. I've taken a picture of it, knowing that it's going to come through back to YouTube. But to actually sit down and go through the photos, it loses its first appeal. The first appeal that it has for me, where I go, oh, look, there's that, there's that, there's that. It turns into a bit of an effort when I have to talk about it back, right? Even though I absolutely loved having the experiences at the time. There was a week when I was having yellow flowers show up all the time, and now this week, and then I had one really deep pink, reddy crimson colour given to me. A woman walked up to me and gave me a flower. She said something like, beautiful flower for a beautiful lady. And it did make my day. And she said, put that in a little glass, put it in a little glass of water. And I'd literally just been having a conversation with one of my friends about how I need a glass to drink water out of, my own glass. So it feels lovely to me that I'm drinking, because if you're supposed to drink water, you see people walking about all the time with these plastic water bottles. It just doesn't appeal to me. It does not appeal to me to be Islamic candidate. It doesn't appeal to me to be sucking out of plastic. But if I had a nice glass, and I was thinking maybe I'll get a blue glass, then I'm more likely to drink water. Anyway, look at this behind me. I might have shown you this before. Again, I'm going to have to look at my old last YouTube video, which feels like so long ago to me because so much other information has flooded through my head. I can't remember if I showed you this. Look at it. I just what do you think of those apples? Depending on what sort of mood you're in, you can change colour that's glaring out from what looks like what are those things called in Star Wars? The lightsabers. What do we think? Is that sort of matching what I'm wearing and how I look, or is that warming it up and giving it more of a balance? I think that's probably more of a balanced view. And look at this, and I've got this other one over here. I can light me up completely. I can turn it down, I can make it a different colour. A bit bright, let's make it a bit warmer. Hey, what do you think about those apples? What do you think about those apples? I should rename my channel. What do you think about those apples? Why not? Oh, I've got that little light thing. And then I decided this week, I'm just going to take photos of whatever shows up, the things that showed up. Now, obviously, as I talk through what's on my camera, I'm going to put the pictures up so you're going to be able to see them as well. And I've written them down as well, some of the messages to myself. I've started WhatsApping myself messages. How'd you like that? So if you have coincidences, write them down. Now, the reason why I take photos as I'm going along, because you never know, it might not be a coincidence for you, right? It's like that time when I saw AI Val on a car going past. It wasn't for me. It was for Carol, who'd been a guest on this channel, and her coincidence was around the name Val. Now, one of my other friends, she thinks of me as the unicorn. When she sees a unicorn, she thinks of me. She thinks that's my symbol. Now, I think of me as my symbol as a white flying horse, like Pegasus, just like a flying horse, you know. But when I see a unicorn, I take a photo and I send it to her. Now I've got another friend and I think of her as the unicorn. So I used to send her a picture of unicorn, but I think she got fed up with it. I think she got fed up with me sending her pictures of unicorns because she doesn't think it means anything. And then this same person who thinks of me as a unicorn, this is the same lady that we had the coincidence around the bird of paradise with, you know, my last YouTube. That definitely wasn't another video. And I was walking along and I saw a unicorn in a shop, so took a photo for her. Next shop, I saw an advert for a 3-in-1 picnic bag set, Bird of Paradise. I didn't even know there was such a range or a brand as Bird of Paradise, but I really didn't know. And then in the next shop, there were some yellow sunflowers and a black cat. And I just like those. I don't know who the giraffe is for. And the little bees there again, they've shown up a lot. Obviously, each year, the people, the powers that be, the people who decide what we're going to have in our homes and what's going to be fashionable, do decide, don't they? And you do have like a whole range of, one year it's unicorns, one year it's bees, one year it's little pigs, some year it's some sort of strange dog or whatever. It's taken a fancy of the public imagination. And there's always sunflowers in Britain, in England, because it's a British summer flower. So I took a little photo because I like to see it, and it was the yellow and black, obviously, and it really appeals, doesn't it? Because the yellow and black of the bees. But then they've also got this black cat that's got on a yellow background, and I love that as well. So I took a photo because that was like the fourth yellow flower that had shown up that week. And I think this might have been part of the previous week's photos. There was a little feather on my path, but it wasn't on my path. It literally floated down in front of my feet. So I watched it land and then I took a photo. I didn't just walk past the feather on the floor. It floated down. I did walk past this one. It's half a loaf of bread in the road. What does that mean? Use your loaf. And this is what I like to do, to interpret the image and the symbolism as the message. So what do you take? Either drop the bread to stop eating bread, watch what you're eating with the bread, or use your loaf. Use your logical side of your mind for the next part of your life. And then I've noticed, and this is the thing, someone's only got to mention it, haven't they? And it all shows up. You know how this goes. Had a guest on last week. You haven't seen the video yet. It's coming your way. I promise it is coming. Beautiful lady called Elaine Kalantarian. Her name is. She's an American astrologer, and she came on. She spoke with me about all the things that we like to talk about on this channel, like paranormal experiences and coincidences, and how she almost met her husband before she actually met him. You know, their paths crossed. They were in the similar places at the same time. It's great. So you're going to really love it when you watch her chatting. But she was mentioning how owls, and I always have trouble saying that, owls, you know, those big birds that are in Harry Potter, giant eyes, have played a big part in her life, and she loves owls. And I was walking down the road and I saw a giant owl sticker on the side of the van. And then some days the sea, every day I walk down the seafront, some days it looks atmospheric and it's really magnificent, the power of it. And the pictures don't do it justice, they don't. And then I saw this trainer and some sort of jacket that somebody had hung up on a a map of the estuary. Oh yeah, I went to London on the day of the Trooping of the Colour. Not to see, excuse me, it's the COVID, I've got an itchy nose now. Not to see the Trooping of the Colour, although I would have loved to have been able to be there for that, but all the tickets were sold out to get a spot anywhere near Buckingham Palace, and it was really raining. So I just thought, right, I'm just going to get up in my own time and I'll get to London, see what time I get there, and I'll just see what's happening, I'll just play it by ear. I think I left here about 9:30, got there at 10:30, strolled down to Buckingham Palace. First pub that I see, when I get off somewhere near Buckingham Palace, can't even remember where I got off now, but random, vaguely around there, because I thought, oh no, I don't mind a little bit of a walk, because I'll get to see all the tourists, get to see all the people. You don't know what you're going to see, do you? First corner, first pub, the Flying Horse. I love that because I see myself as the flying horse, right? So I took a picture and sent it to my friend because it's funny. But it was absolutely pelting it down. And I've got a really bright yellow umbrella because I love bright colours for accessories, because it's probably too much when you're having bright colours for all of your outfits, right? Despite the fact I really love pattern stuff as well. But you're easy to spot. If you're traveling with people and you've got a bright yellow backpack or bright yellow umbrella, bright colour something, it's easy for other people to find you in a crowd, right? That's how I think of it. So I took shelter in a phone box. I think it was a phone box, but now they've got like Wi-Fi written on them and you can charge phones up and all sorts. I'm not actually sure you can make a phone call. I don't know. Anyway, I hid in there. And as I was strolling along, I noticed some things. I noticed a beautiful church. And in the church had a little green caravan on the garden terrace. And in there's a listening counsellor. You can just drop in to this little green, they call it a caravan, but it looks like, an actual outbuilding. They're calling it a caravan, but it doesn't look much like a caravan to me, but it does look like, honestly, it looks like one of those World War II bomb shelters. But it's absolutely stunning and it's in a beautiful church and it's free to go in the church. You can go in the church, you leave a donation. They have things like live choirs, music, supportive listening counselling. And then next door to the church, they have reducing reoffending through coffee. So they have a coffee shop where people are working there. I'm not sure if the people working there have been offenders in the past or have ever been incarcerated, as they call it in the US. Little picture of my suitcase soaking wet. It was so rainy. I had to go in to the pastry shop and coffee shop next to the church naturally, but I'm not joking. It threw it down with rain. It was the most torrential rain I've seen for ages. And then I was heading past one of the shops that was advertising top hats for Royal Escort. Of course, it's the shop that sells top hats for Royal Escort. Now, people who've watched this people who've watched this channel recently will know that I've had the top hat coincidence as well. I do love hats, absolutely love hats. I take photos of hats when I see dropped hats. I've been taking photos of them for years. It makes me laugh. I see it's hats off from the universe, like tipping your hat. And then Carol, who came on, we're talking about top hats. And so now when I see a top hat, I also pay attention. 4 top hats in the window. And then the Ritz Hotel decorating their flowers with yellow flowers. And I'm sure they change those regularly. It's the Ritz, right? The Ritz in London. But this week, the week I was there, they were yellow. And as I got to London, so I just got there in time for the Red Arrows, which was like 12:30. And there was this guy there. I said, do you mind if I just take your photo? This is my new thing, just randomly walking up to strangers and asking to take their photo. Because I love your top hat. And he happily smiled and posed for the camera. Didn't ask any questions, just let me take a picture. I did. And then I carried on walking, took a little few videos. Just as I got there, the Red Arrows, the red, white and blue smoke was blowing over. I was like, oh, did I just miss it? It was like literally the tail end of the Red Arrows flying over my head. And then all the pomp and ceremony, they've done all that banging of the marching and then I caught them just as they were walking back. and slowing down, having their cup, waiting for their cup of tea. What time's tea? They're looking at their watch like, is it time for tea yet? And I found this little alley to get out. I got sort of stuck in a park. I think I was in St James's Park, the one near Buckingham Palace. And I couldn't get out because obviously all the roads are blocked off everywhere. Security, because the royals are there. And I couldn't get out of the park and get to the train station I needed to be at. I was trying to get to Hammersmith. And I couldn't get to the tube station that I needed to be on to get to Hammersmith. So I thought, oh, I've got to go the long way around. And then I spotted an alleyway. And I can't remember if this was the Queen's alleyway or the King's alleyway. Either way, it was a shortcut. And I decided to take it. So I got out and I come out the other side just in time to see almost like a little mini trooping of the colour of my own. To watch because they'd finished doing the big thing. And as I walked around the corner, oh, what's this? It was the bit where they all have to stand down. Apparently, there's another ceremony at the end of the trooping of the colour where they all do this, everything they do. Like they get a horse from one bit to the next bit, and they have all these rituals that go on. So I stood and watched these 4 horses' arses. I shouldn't say that. Horse bottoms. Look, the back ends of the horse, right? 4 of them. That's where I was. That's my view. Was watching the back ends of the horses. I noticed the rain had cleared up, so I was able to stand there, watch them do all their shouting that they do, and then they just do all this ceremonial stuff that's like, I've got no idea what they're doing, but it means something to them. They shout at each other, they hand things to each other, and then the other one shouts, and then they stomp in, and they make a nice ritual of it. And if you love pomp and ceremony, it's brilliant. Down the Mall towards Buckingham Palace at the end there. If you sort of open that up, you see the palace. I'm not sure what all those armed policemen are doing there. They look like they're having some sort of chat together, don't they? A lot of. And then as you walk, trying to get out over James Park, there's beautiful, beautiful water, lakes, ducks, geese, birds, herons, all sorts of nature to enjoy. And as I came out, Queen Anne's Gate, walking through Queen Anne's Gate to get out, and Queen Anne, and my son's name was called Anne. And then the Ministry of Justice. Found myself looking up at the Ministry of Justice, which did feel very Orwellian. What else did I see? Oh, yes. And then I saw a penny on the floor. Now, I always take pictures when I see pennies. If I see pound notes, not pound notes, don't get them anymore. If I see £10 notes, I pick them up. But pennies, I don't pick them up. I leave them. But I do take pictures because it's becoming less and less likely, isn't it, that people drop money because people are using cash a lot less. When I saw this penny, it was right outside on the other side of the road of the Metro Bank, which just made me laugh that people had dropped cash outside the bank. And I had been to Primark actually earlier, and there was an altercation with a poor homeless guy when that rain was all coming down, really, really coming down. Right, it was like having buckets of water blown at you. It was like Ant and Dec's, the thing at the end of the Ant and Dec where they do that tornado. What's it called? It's not called a tycoon, is it? It's called in the UK with the I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here in the Jungle. The people who make it down to the final 4, they get to play this game where they're all dressed up as superheroes and they have to run up a really slippery slope that's been pelted with water and balls, little, balls like when you go into a ball pit, there's all those little balls. and they're getting slammed, and the wind and the water, and they have to fight their way. That's what this weather was like. It was just horrendous. And I could hear all this shouting going on when I arrived. They got off the tube and thought, oh, someone's shouting. Had a look. People shouting at each other, because who wants to be out in the homeless people? Who wants to be out in the cold, rain, wet? It was horrible. Kept walking. I've got back, head down, back into walls, and think, God, I've got to go in Primark then, because it's the only place to go where you can just get away for a minute. And I'm not joking. Every single tube station, every shop, every available place to go in had little crowds of people. There was no more room to get in. So the only place to go was Primark or a big shop. And you could see everyone rushing to find cover, because it just suddenly came down. It didn't build up gradually. It was just a sudden downpour. And I could hear this bloke shouting, and he was kicking a duvet around, and he was shouting at the security guard at Primark, you shouldn't have touched my stuff. Why did you touch my stuff? Because the security guards clear away the homeless people to make room for the shoppers. I don't know what their rules are, but it's not good, is it? If in all that weather you're going to literally take away someone's duvet. So why? They were really shouting at each other. He was shouting at the security guard. He was really unhappy and upset. And I thought, God, if all you've got is a duvet in your life, and all you're trying to do is protect that duvet, and then someone wearing a uniform and a high-vis outfit and a walkie-talkie comes along and just takes away your stuff, like, how is that allowed? It shouldn't be allowed, should it? It should not be allowed. And so I went in, I thought, oh, I can't buy a duvet. So I said, they sell duvets in here? She was like, yeah, where? It's about 4 stories, a basement, and 500 little departments all over the place. It's downstairs. Fine. Went downstairs, got there, standing in the queue, woman in front of me got a duvet. And she got to the till, and someone called me over, and I said, excuse me, you buying that for the guy outside? She said, yeah. I said, oh, and I put mine back. So I put mine back. I said, but I'll come with you to help you, because you just don't know with homeless people or people that are really, really angry. It can be dangerous to approach them, even to give them a duvet, right? You just don't know how they're going to react. And she said, oh, thanks. So she was happy for me to go with her. So drove out. And I said to the security guard, where's the homeless guy gone that, you took his duvet? And he goes, oh, he's around here somewhere. He said, why, have you got something? I said, yeah, this lady's buying him a duvet. And the security guard did look like he was happy we bought him a duvet. So I'm guessing he was just sort of acting under orders, like he has to clear away old duvets and things. He's not allowed, doesn't allow people to live on the doorstep of Primark. So we walked around the corner, we found this guy. He was blood all over his face. God knows what had happened. He didn't have blood all over his face 5 minutes earlier, but obviously it wasn't anything to do with the security guards. I'm wondering if he'd fallen over or something. And me and this woman looked at each other, and she just sort of reached out and gave him the duvet, and he was really angry. And I was like, yeah, I knew that this is going to happen. It's like, you never know how somebody's going to be on the receiving end of that, because they feel the injustice burns, because the person shouldn't have taken their first duvet. Why should they have to take this other duvet? What's wrong with my first duvet? They're still ranting about the injustice of what's just happened. So she just sort of pushed it in, and we both walked away and left him, and he was shouting as we walked away. I was like, okay, yeah, he will calm down. And when he calms down, he's got a new, dry, clean duvet, right? And we both walked off. Now, if I'd turned up and in time to see the trooping of the colour, or tried to get there earlier, I wouldn't have seen that altercation, would I? I wouldn't have been involved in that in any way. And then I went to see Theo Von. The next day, as I was walking through Hammersmith, noticed Angel Walk I was walking past. Took a little photo. This is me looking knackered, because I swear to you, there was no one in there over the age of 40. I'm pretty sure I was the only person that Theo Von over the age of 40. If anyone out there went to see Theo Von live on the 15th of June in London, let me know. And then I thought, oh, do you know what? I'm going to get on a bus the next day. I thought, right, on the way back to Essex, I thought, get a bus. Went to the bus stop. 4 London buses, 4 red buses. And on the side of one, it says, are you sitting comfortably? Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. And again, that is something I say. I'm pretty sure I've put that in my book. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. It's like when you're storytelling, once upon a time, are you sitting comfortably? Then you know you're ready to hear a story, right? Just took some pictures of my views, took a little video. arrived at Trafalgar Square, Piccadilly Circus. I noticed the black telephone boxes again. I'm not sure if you can actually make a call, but I think you can charge your phone and get Wi-Fi. Noticed Oscar Wilde, statue of. And again, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned Oscar Wilde in my book. And then there was this lovely saying. It's like everywhere where there's museum and arts and anything creative, they've got lovely poetry and sayings. It's just beautiful. The culture is lovely. And then there was the bells were going off as I was going past. And then I thought this picture might have been a bird of paradise. And I went in to check because it did look like a bird of paradise, honestly. But actually, she said it was a peacock. I thought, no, it doesn't look like a peacock to me. And it was underneath a couple of owls. Again, the owls. I mean, I know owls are really common. And so are butterflies. There's a little butterfly as well. What's that one? It's a swan, 2 cherries, and a dragonfly. But it wasn't a bird of paradise. And then I took a picture of some of these balloons because I haven't seen blue balloons about for ages. And then I noticed a drop in silence at the Quaker meeting house. A drop in silence, you just go in and sit with other people. It's just be silent. It's lovely, isn't it? No philosophy, no religion, no catch. Just peace, tranquility, and silence with other people. Interesting. I noticed the name on the side of a building, which is also the address of where one of my friends lives. Not sure if I sent her that picture. And then I saw some crows, which are some American sweets in an American sweet shop. See different types of crows and then some unicorns. What was this? Oh yeah, nice statue, Robert Burns. I was walking along by the Thames. I was walking near the Strand, walking back. Thought I might as well walk while I've got the opportunity, not in any rush. The weather was better and a lot of the trains were on strike. So I had to get from Tower Hill to Liverpool Street on foot, which is a 5-minute walk, 10 minutes, maybe 15, right at the most. It's not a long walk, but if you're tired and you're old and you've been up the night before and you've been doing a lot of walking, wearing yourself out, I was slower than normal. But also what I wasn't aware of is that I was coming down with COVID, right? So that probably does explain it as well. Take some pictures. And then I turned around and again, behind me, a couple of horses appeared. And again, I'm faced with walking along, facing the horse's bottom. Like 2 of them, 2 horses' bottoms. What's this? Oh yeah, giant teacup, giant piece of sculpture. And another Robert Rakes. All of these people who've got statues have done something really memorable and worthwhile in the City of London, like helping the structure of London build. Helping build the structure of London rather. And then I noticed this little boat and it's a golden star. I was like, oh yeah, a golden star. I love that because the golden star is really common symbolically, isn't it? You see them a lot. And they're rewards to children, aren't they? Have a gold star for the work that you've done. I think sometimes as adults we forget, don't we? We forget that we deserve gold stars sometimes. And then I went in the shop to get some water and the beautiful sunflowers, like real sunflowers, actual sunflowers. In fact, I might get myself some sunflowers this week. And next to them, there were some beautiful pink flowers. And this week I've seen more pink flowers than yellow flowers, honestly. Turn a corner, heading towards Liverpool Street. See a building on fire. Again, stood and watched a building burning, all smoke coming out and people being evacuated. So that's twice that's happened to me recently. That's got to be within the last 6 weeks. Sure. I sat and watched the house burn down. But I didn't share the photo because I didn't think it was fair to the people that live there. And now I can share this because it was an office block, but well, it was an office block, sort of an office block, but must have been flats as well because they were evacuating people. But what are the chances of being in a place where you're seeing things burn down? Jumped on the train, all these coloured feathers. This is to come back. It's like a celebration. Lovely. This could be the shop that's got my book for sale in it. but my book isn't in the window. Oh, it's an owl. I took a picture of the owl on the window. That was what it was. Another owl showed up. Books on Sea. Yeah, on the Books on Sea, which is where my book is in there, there's an owl on the window. And I love that coincidence because I was speaking to Elaine about owls. It's fun, isn't it? Oh, yeah. And then I'm going to have to send Elaine a link to this video because every year, I'm guessing they're changed annually, but I haven't noticed this owl before, so I don't know how long this one has been there. In Southend on Sea, they do all this art, it's murals inside of buildings, like huge murals. And this is a giant owl, like the biggest owl you've ever seen on my path again. And then, oh yeah, just as one of those lovely little coincidences, I sent off for a new V5 form for my car because I've never had it sent to me. I think it's called a V5C or something. You know, those registration documents that tell you you are the owner. I've had the car for about 5 years. I've never had a V5, never had the document for it. I've got the proof that it's mine. You get a little slip that the owner gives to you. But then if you don't receive it through the post, you have to apply for a new one. If you have to apply for a new one because you changed your address or you've lost it, it costs you 25 quid. But if you have to apply for one because you've never had one, then it's free, which is my version of events. I've applied for it. We'll wait and see till they ask me for the money. And there's literally after I'd dealt with the DVLA and all the phoning and the onlining and the research and figuring out what I had to do to get one. I'd just been through that process, put it in the post, walked down the road, and on this number plate it said V5 new. Does that say new? Yeah, it does. It definitely does say new. And that made me laugh because literally that is the process I've just been going through. Little black hat, little view, another hat. I was out with my son doing some work things that we had to do. I noticed to park the car near this hat by a tree. When we came back, was like, where's the car? Are you sure it's down this road? Because there were so many roads that were all similar. It could have been parked down any of them. We were really rushing, weren't really paying attention. And then we spotted the hat again. Oh, yeah. Because obviously I took a picture. My son's like, you're not taking a picture, are you? We haven't got time for this. I'm like, I am, yeah. But as we came back, seeing the hat, that's when we knew where the car was. Right there. Yeah. When I was in Theo Von comedy store, not the comedy store, it was just his stand-up comedy show. At half time, went to the loo. It was at the Hammersmith Apollo, actually. It's a lovely theatre. And everyone was really well behaved and it was funny. People laughed. And it was enjoyable to see someone that you like and admire. You know, it was nice to just be in his presence, think, oh yeah, I've been to see him, you know. Anyway, we went in the loo half time and there's this girl sobbing, absolutely sobbing. People asking if she's okay and all that. And I had my tissues. So I was able to, she was sobbing onto this really rough toilet paper. You know, in these places they have the cheapest toilet paper, don't they? My tissues, and I was able to give her a soft tissue. So I had to use this on her skin because it's better for her skin than wiping her face with horrible old chemical covered toilet paper. And she was so grateful. She said, oh, thank you. And she was like patting her eyes. And I changed the subject and said, was she all right? And was she okay? And all that stuff. And she was grateful. And I was like, yeah, there we go. If you've got tissues on you, someone will be crying, someone will be in need of them. Test it for yourself. I asked the universe, say, I'm going to be taking some tissues out. Let me be in the right place at the right time to be able to help someone with these, right? If you don't want to, you don't want to waste your time, that's fine. Don't. But just know, if you carry tissues around with that intention, the universe will deliver. Okay, so be prepared to use them, whether it's mopping up blood or patching someone up, whatever. And then I did a similar thing with a carrier bag. I had 2 new carrier bags in my bag. I folded them all up and I used one. I was carrying it back from the shops. And then I saw this guy and he was juggling bread, potatoes, sausages and milk. And I was like, would you like a little carrier bag? He said, I'd love a little carrier bag. So I have my little rucksack. I pulled out another useless to me carrier bag because I'm collecting them now because I also forget to take the carrier bag out. I gave him the carrier bag. It was only a little carrier bag. It was one of those little blue skinny ones, but still, he was grateful. And it made me happy because I remembered I'm in the right place at the right time to be the person that knows how to help another person. The vintage shop, there's another picture of a playing card in the window, giant playing card next to a top hat. So I took the top hat photo. And then my son came back from holiday in Mallorca and he bought me a shell, like a seashell. You know those ones that you put up to your ear? Hold on, I'm going to have to go and get, I'm running out of time now. It's 11 o'clock. Hold on. Do you ever remember as a kid going down to the beach and you get a shell, put it up to your ear like that, and it sounds like the sea? Right. Oh, my alarm clock going off to tell me I've run out of time. I can probably spare another 5 minutes, I guess. Let me see. Can I spare another 5 minutes? I'm so sorry. This is why I should. See how can I find time to do the talking about all the things I've got to talk about? Let me show you this shell. I'll have to make this the last one and then maybe I'll do another recording. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, and I don't know if it's just me imagining it. I don't think I'm imagining it, right? Because now I've picked it up and I'm looking at it straight on, I can't see it. When you look at this piece here, this bit, from a certain angle, right, you can see a woman's face. Hold on, I can't. These are the lips there, and there's a cheekbone there, and there's an eye. Right, but it has to be, so you have to be at a certain angle to be able to see it. Right, and I sit it by the telly. And from a certain angle, I swear to God, I'm probably imagining it, but it looks just like my mum. That's what my mum looked like. And I can literally see my mum's face in this piece of art. And so I sent a picture to my son. He said, "Oh my God, I can see another face." So he can see a face in this blue bit up here. What can you see? See, if you look closer, you can see a little lighthouse at the back. I mean, it's absolutely amazing, isn't it? It's beautiful. This is what they do in Mallorca. They sell tourists like this little gold painted in this shell, but beautiful, beautiful. I absolutely love it. Anyway, I really have run out of time now, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to say goodbye until next time. When I get time, I will, I promise. Take care. Bye for now. Hello to lovely YouTube. It's 8:05, 26th of June. I've got 25 minutes before I'm starting work today. Now, so I saw a little, it's hot, right? So people go, and except last week it was cold and now it's hot again, really, really, really hot again. And people look outside and they look at big clouds, few clouds, you've got no idea what's going to be happening. We seem to have consistent sun though at the moment, right? People still going out wearing hoodies and warm clothes just in case. And then of course they lose them. So as I'm walking along, I'm noticing these hoodies now. Obviously, it's just that time of year. You see different items of clothing, discarded depending on the weather. This week it was a red hoodie, and I thought of a little Red Riding Hood, and a whole black coat, a complete coat that somebody thought they were going to need, which is not surprising because I promise you the week before I had the heating on for 20 minutes. It was so cold. And then I saw a couple of crows, and I think, oh, it's going to be some good news. It might have even been 3 crows. No, it was 2. Dot on my phone. This is the beautiful little park, and this is the row of houses where I saw that house burn down. Like I say, it's an amazing house, and I just watched it burn. And behind this lake on this picture is the seafront. That's the sea there. Then I saw a ribbon, like, when people tie ribbons on things. I can't imagine what needed a ribbon this size. It's quite fat, but it's a white ribbon, that white satin ribbon. And then I saw a seagull minding its own business, eating some food on the seafront, and a crow came down and stole its food. And I noticed a number plate. It said, "Your old son," a Texan son. And then my son brought me back a shell from Mallorca. And I think I might have mentioned this before. I've taken 2 pictures of it. So let me take this picture again. From a certain angle, you can see a woman's face in the artwork. Oh yeah, I did. I remember she holding it up to the camera. But it's just that when it's at a different angle, really absolutely looks just like my mum used to look, honestly. And I know I'm imagining that. So I sent it to one of my friends and she sent me a little picture showing me where she could see a face as well. But it really looked like my mum, the shape, her cheekbones and her lipstick and her eyes and everything just really reminded me of my mum. What else happened? Saw another little hat dropped and a whole white shirt. Little yellow brush. And saw a couple of crows. Look at these beautiful ships in the background. They go along all day long. When the tide's in, you see the ships come from London, heading off out elsewhere. And then along the seafront, there's a little bronze statue of David Amis, who was our MP, who was the guy. Put the trigger warning here, about to say something really horrible. Don't want to hear it. Turn off. He was murdered in his office. I was going to say he came to an untimely end, but it doesn't cover what happened to him. He was brutally murdered. So they've put up a statue and given Southend city status because of this man. And honestly, this little statue, I'm guessing it's about 5 foot something, but he was nearly 6 foot. He was really tall. And I don't think it does him justice. It's a lovely statue. It is lovely, and it's a beautiful place for the statue of him to be looking out over the Thames estuary. And somebody's put a little flower in his hand of the statue, which is lovely. And again, we're back to this dark pink colour of flowers that I keep seeing this week. I noticed a wet paint sign. Something's not quite dry. Something's not ready for you to sit on yet. And then walking back along the seafront, lovely red flowers outside this restaurant. Well, they've got a defibrillator on the wall, which is also like a warning for the food that they're going to serve you up in there. That's not gay stall. It's for everyone along the seafront. And then I saw a little white feather. And near the white feather, there's a reminder from Morrison's, the supermarket, make good things happen. And this is in a week when someone else has said to me, good things do happen. There's a reminder, good things do happen in life. It's not always negative. It's not always bad. There's not always dread and fear and horrible things to be scared of. Good things happen as well to everyone. And I looked up and there was a silver ladder in my way. Now, I always associate silver ladders with spiritual growth, climbing the spiritual ladder. And a lot of that comes from self-awareness and what you're doing with your person. What are you giving out to the universe? How are you being in the world? And then there's the picture of the shell with my friend sent that back saying that's where she saw a woman's face, which is exactly how I was seeing it. There's been baby news. I've heard of a baby that's been born. So that's lovely. Now, what else happened? I sent myself WhatsApp messages. I've been asked for directions. I went to London. I might have told you this story. I went to London around the time of the Trooping of the Colour. And I was heading to Hammersmith Apollo from Buckingham Palace, somewhere in that direction. Can't even remember what tube station I was on. But as I was walking along the tube station, there was a guy sitting on his own. So I struck up conversation because that's what I do. A little bit of chit chat and small talk about why there doesn't seem to be so many trains running to Richmond or somewhere. And he has a little talk back and he's very relaxed and laid back, feet up and just happy to be there. And I was wondering about. And then this guy come running towards us, obviously a tourist. And I mean, he wasn't running, but he was really in a rush. And he looked sort of, I need to know information. And he asked the guy sitting down on a bench. I was standing up. Oh, do you know how to get to, I think it's kind of King's Cross or St Pancras? Do you know how to get to King's Cross? And the guy's like, oh, no, I'm not sure I do. No, I don't know. And then I recognised that the guy really did need some help. So I said, I'll help you. I'll find your map. So we walked up the tube platform, no map up there, walked all the way back, past the guy sitting on the bench, walked back past him, back up to where there was a map, which obviously I find it really easy to read the tube map because I've seen it thousands of times, so it's easy for me to spot, this is where we are, this is where you need to go. And he was on the right tube line, but he was on the wrong platform. So he was going the wrong way. So he would have he needed to go over the other side of the train station. And I said, you're on this line, and then you go from here to Aldgate, and then you change at Aldgate, and then you get on the central line and you go this way, and that leads up to, showed you where to go. And he was like, from here. And I was like, no, it is from here, but over there on the other side. So he went over onto the other side. And I was like, even on a day trip to London, and even when I don't live here, people find me to help them to go in the right direction. Made me happy anyway. And then, and I mentioned this yesterday, there was a girl crying in the toilet at the Theo Von concert. And I looked on the Theo Von website this morning on his podcast, and he has had a podcast with Ed Sheeran. And Ed Sheeran's got a little room set up in the back of his pub, which looks amazing. He's got two beautiful green leather, what look like Chesterfield wing-back chairs. They're amazing. And that's it. 2 chairs, 2 microphones, and that's it. They just sit and chat. That's how billionaires do it. Is Ed Sheeran a billionaire? I think he might be. Ed Sheeran, some of his stories, he plays with the royals. He plays with the young royals. I think he's got a scar on his cheek where he got caught by a sword by either Harry or one of them. They're messing about when they're drunk. And then I told the story about this guy with a sleeping bag at the Flying Horse. And then there was a coach driver and a traffic warden. And a coach driver in London, it's impossible to park and drive, and it's just horrible. You just don't want to do it, to take public transport, right? But coaches really form part of that public transport. Not according to the traffic warden. The coach driver was outside this hotel waiting for like 40 people to come out. And the traffic warden wanted to give him a ticket. So the coach driver was standing in front of his number plate. So the traffic warden couldn't write down the numbers and give him a ticket. It was really funny. And I just drove past on the bus as I clocked that. And then I went to the National Gallery. And of course, because I'd stayed overnight, I had my little suitcase with me. I didn't know. You can't go into the National Gallery if you've got a suitcase. You have to go and put your suitcase in a locker at Piccadilly Circus and then go back. I thought, oh, I can't bother. I'll come back another time when I haven't got a suitcase with me. I'll go around the corner to the portrait gallery, walk around the corner to the portrait gallery. No, massive queue. I just couldn't be bothered. Turned around and there's a building behind me that's got the name of one of my friend's addresses. So where she lives in the block of flats is the same name as this building in London that I was standing in front of. I found that amusing. And then I had a nightmare getting home because I can't remember if it was a strike or if there were rail works. There was some reason why the trains weren't working. My ticket I had didn't work because I'd got a direct line ticket. There's cheaper tickets you can get cheaper. Probably saved myself £2, caused myself all sorts of nonsense because if you come to London and you get a 1-day travel card, you can go on buses, trains, tubes, whatever. You can just travel about London willy-nilly. If like me, and it costs about, I don't know, £26, something like that. From Southend days, not in London. In London, it cost you about, well, last time I heard it was about £8, probably about £12 now, something around that, about a tenner a day. And I went from Southend for £10 and returned, so that's £20. So yeah, I saved myself £6, but I caused myself all manner of problems because I couldn't use that ticket on any other journey apart from that one journey that I'd paid for. And so only precise tubes. I couldn't use it in inner London, Zone 1. It's really complicated what they've done with the London travel system now. But I didn't know that. I didn't buy the ticket and go, oh, can you swerve me out of paying for Zone 1? I said, can I have the cheapest way to get to Hammersmith? Stupidly. Shouldn't have said that because she did give me the cheapest ticket. Also, the most inconvenient ticket. Every time I went to Zone 1, it went, meh, it wouldn't let me in. I had to pay again, another £3. £3, £3. I paid another £12 in tube fares, just dotted about, and buses, because I was jumping on and off buses, because the trains that I was trying to get on, I had a ticket for, weren't there. What are we meant to do about that? I don't know. Anyway, what else did I write down? What else happened? Oh yeah, funny things happened. Strange things happened, actually. Good things do happen. I got mistaken for someone else. That happens to me a lot. I walk along, people go, oh, no, sorry, not me. And in fairness, this time I was just sitting down, so the person could only see the back of my hair. Guy in the park, in that same park, I took a photo of. Bloke came out of his house and shouted at me and waved me over. I'm like, saying, what are you talking to me? And he goes, oh, sorry, I thought you were someone else. I'm like, okay. But it makes me laugh because that's one of my life events that I consider to be meaningful. You know, you're being mistaken for someone else. What does that mean to you? What does it mean to you when someone else calls you a different name? What is that telling you? Be yourself, right? Everyone else is taken. Be yourself. And then I went to meet my supervisor because I have to have supervision every month. I went to Lee to an in-person supervision. Never do it in person, just do it online. But we've decided that every few months we should meet up and do it in person because it's just a nice thing to do, isn't it? It's just a sort of feeling you get you get that exchange of energy, and it's lovely to see people as well. So I went along, and then I decided I was going to have a coffee beforehand. I went to the coffee shop and I ordered decaf with soy latte. Normally, I have full caffeine cappuccino, but I've decided to be healthier and not have the caffeine. What did she give me? Go on, I'll give you three guesses. That's right. She gave me caffeinated with sugar and the wrong milk. I was like, not what? There was someone standing outside the window being served, and I had to come into the shop because it was raining. And she'd handed the wrong coffee to the wrong person. And the person outside had added sugar to my one. So she then swapped them back, and I had a coffee with sugar, even though I haven't had coffee and sugar for ages. It was really amazing. It was really, really good. But I felt like, what's happening here? And I'd struck up small talk with a guy that's standing in a coffee because this is what I do. There's always someone who wants to have a chat. And this guy was having a chat, and his complaint was that he's having to go to Turkey and he'd rather go to Italy with his family, and he didn't have a choice in that. Yeah, okay. I don't know why this information comes my way. I don't know. There's something about me that allows a person to tell you the thing they're really most bothered about that they can't tell their family, you know? Dear people out there, if ever your family wants to go to Turkey and there's one member of the family that wants to go to Italy, right? If you're the family member that wants to go to Italy, just fling yourself on the ground and make a big scene and let people know how you feel about it. Don't be skulking off quietly and complaining to people in coffee shops about what your family have done to you because you didn't speak up, right? Or put your foot down or insist on going somewhere you wanted to go. I don't know. What are you supposed to do in that situation? Anyway, he rolled over and gave up and just skulked off. And I can see why people do just have a peaceful life if everyone else wants to go to Turkey and you're the only one who wants an expensive holiday in Italy. I can see why it would be easier just to say nothing. But if you only get this one experience of life and you're only having one holiday that year, make sure it's somewhere that you can be happy that you made the decision about going, right? Anyway, this guy I was speaking to decided on my behalf that I shouldn't have to have a secondhand coffee that someone else has just, looked at. I'm like, did she drink out of this? And she was like, no, she hasn't drunk out of it. I was like, oh, okay. But it did just feel like having someone else's coffee. And he wanted me to have a new coffee. I'm like, no, honestly. So I'm literally doing exactly what I think he should have done with his holiday. He should have spoken up and said more. And I'm not speaking up saying more about this coffee. I'm just letting it go. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'll have dodgy coffee. Right. And then, of course, go off and complain to everyone about that coffee shop just giving me secondhand coffee. Is that fair of me? No. Is this guy's just shown me exactly what it is that I do, right? And this is what people do. They offer you a reflection of how you're being. And if you can see that someone else could be doing something different and better, then what's stopping you from doing something different in your life, right? And that's how we learn, isn't it? And then I was walking on the seafront because I've taken to walking down the seafront every day if I can. And this morning I'm doing this chat instead of walking down the seafront because I really feel like I'm behind with talking about my coincidences. And I've nearly finished editing the little conversation I had with Elaine, the astrologer, and I've got another author coming on who wants to talk as well. So that's really great. So it's like the universe is delivering me people and being delivered in just the right time. So I've got just the amount of time to do the video in, communicate about what's going to be kept in or not kept in, do the subtitles, edit that, produce that, and then another person's lined up, right? So the universe is working. It's like that cat delivery system. I've got podcast guest delivery system working in my favour. So people are lining up to come and be on this channel, which is great, isn't it? I promise you're going to really love these people when they come, when you see them. And then I was walking on the seafront and I could see this woman holding her phone. She's old, she's about, no, in her 70s. And she was like this. holding the phone up. And I said, are you all right there? You know, you get this sense that somebody needs some help. Can you turn this off? She went, I looked at it, it was making a god awful noise. It was going, bah, 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 really horrible. She looked at it and had some sort of SOS alarm going off. I was like, how did you turn that off? She said, I don't know. So I clicked all the obvious buttons. And then I said, how did you turn it on? And then she turned it over, and on the back, she had a plaster stuck over what looked like, you know, the fingerprint bit. The plaster, you just pushed that. She goes, just like that. And she pushed it and it went off. It's like, push it off. Push it to make it go, and push it to make it go off. We both laughed. We laughed. And then I walked off and left her to it. After having a joke about my wireless earphones, because she thinks she's got problems. I've got to deal with syncing up my wireless earphones now. Oh dear. Is that it? Do you think that's all my stories? I think that could be all my stories. Did I talk to you about the roads being closed because of a marathon? I'm not sure if I did. I met up with a friend. Yes, a friend I'm going on holiday with. We booked a holiday. I'm going to Madeira in September. Funny story about that as well. It's these things that are not working out. It's weird. But remember, all the things that apparently don't work out really are still putting you in the right place at the right time for other things. So we met up in Shoebury on a day when most of the roads were cut off for a marathon. But that was also because we were meeting in Shoebury. I got to go and see my other friend who's had a hip replacement. So I was able to go round to her and have a chat with her. And I took her a plant on the way round. I said I'd be there at 10. And then I thought I'd pick a plant up from Asda. And I got there and they had this lovely little rose plant, £4. I said to the security guard, do you sell indoor plants? Because they've got all these outdoor plants. She goes, no, we don't sell indoor plants. Walked down the next day, oh, yeah, there's indoor plants. Picked up an indoor plant. I realised I can't pay for it until after 10 because the tills don't open. I was like, oh no, I'm supposed to be there at 10. So I messaged, I'm going to be a bit late. And then I had a laugh with the bloke in the queue because I was thinking, should I write this card in the queue? Because then technically I've stolen it from Asda, because if anything happens with my payment or the card doesn't work or whatever and I can't pay for the card, I've then defaced the card, haven't I? So I thought, oh, I'm going to have to wait. But I was trying to do super efficient, you know, like if I write the card, I won't be as late. But I didn't. I managed to wait. So I waited, sped through there, went round to see her, come out of there flying I was, because I'm pushed for time because I've trying to meet my other friend. Only to find myself caught up in all these roads that were blocked, closed. And I'm going this way and I see my friend coming the other way. I'm bibbing at her. She's like, what are you bibbing at? She didn't recognise me. She didn't notice it was me because she was in the same state of driving around trying to find a place to just leave a car. But all the roads were blocked off because of the marathon that was going on. And this was the day after I'd stepped out in front of a marathon on the Saturday. This was a Sunday marathon. And then so we met up in the pub we were going to, Harvester, for, you know, all you can eat salad. And it was just one thing after another. The people didn't want us to sit down. They didn't want us to give us a table. They were like busy. And I realised now they were panicked because of the sheer volume of marathon runners they were expecting. So there weren't hardly any people in there when we were there because the marathon was still going on. And it was just funny. They didn't give us the milk with the coffee. Like they just assumed we wanted black coffee. Like, what's going on here? This is not right. You know, what? So we got black coffee. And then one of the young waitresses spilt something big, lots of water all over the floor. And they had to pull the tables out and get all these rolls of tissue, like big industrial toilet paper type, you know, rolls, and to clean it all up. And I was like, what is going on? We were literally surrounded by roads that were closed. We both had to walk 20 minutes to get there. No milk and no coffee. And then like cleaning thing going on around us. I'm like, what is going on here? We had the food, went outside, mobbed by marathon runners. All right. I was like, what? It was funny. We were laughing. So we started walking back to the car. This young guy goes, oh, I like your jumper. I'm wearing a purple, my purple mohair jumper. Like, thanks for that. But it was a random, literally a random guy walking with his phone, a young guy. Wasn't anything to do with the marathon runners, just come out of nowhere and thought, bye, like your jumper. Thanks for that. Well, how lovely. You know, it's nice to be complimented, isn't it? Not a lot of people don't like being complimented now. They think it's weird, but I like it. So I was happy. Made me happy. I told him it cost me like £4 from a charity shop 10 years ago. So now it's costing 40p a year. not strictly true. It cost me £4 4 years ago. It's costing me £1 a year, but it's really doing well, and I really enjoy it. I bought it to go to Amsterdam with to go and see Esther Hicks, and it really has stood the test of time, and it keeps me warm on cold occasions. What else happened? What other story didn't I tell you about? Oh yeah, one of my neighbour's alarms goes off at like 5 in the morning and was keeping everyone awake, and she didn't turn it off until 6:30. Well, it woke me up at 5, but apparently it was going on before 4 in the morning, so it was waking people beneath her up even earlier. It didn't wake me up. I slept through it for the first hour because she didn't have to go to work, so she just slept through the alarm. Like, why not just turn the alarm off, right? Which was just weird. And then, but because of that, I had a conversation with another neighbour. We stopped and talked, and then I took their phone number, and now we're all part of a WhatsApp group to make life easier, so we can, let her know that she's doing that. I thought that's weird. What is that telling you? It's not time. It's not time to set the alarm off yet. It's time to turn the alarm off. There's no need to raise the alarm yet, or something. Let me know what you think about that. And then I went, paid 97p for a book that cost £1 because I only had 97p. She let me have it for 97p. But it was a book that I bought so I could put it in the little book library because I haven't got any books that I don't want. So I had to go and buy one to put one in. Normally I do have books that I don't want. And if I've read them and I don't like them, they're no good, or, I wouldn't recommend them to someone, I'd put them back in the charity shop or whatever, or the little book library. But I haven't got any books that I don't like. So I think that's it. I think that's me for the week. Hurrah, you'll be pleased to hear. That it? Yeah, that'll do. That'll do, won't it? That'll do nicely. And then you can look forward to my guests coming on, because that is something to look forward to. Dear lovely people watching my YouTube, have a little subscribe if you feel like it. Press the like button. Send me a comment. Sorry, my voice is going now, and I've got a day's work ahead. This is going to be an interesting day, isn't it? Take care and bye for now. Bye.